From ABC News, this is Primetime Thursday with Diane Sawyer and Charles Gibson.
Good evening. Diane and I welcome you to this all-new edition of Primetime Thursday.
Well, as anyone who watches Sex and the City knows, women these days are looking for a whole new kind of romantic adventure. In fact, a new survey tells us that about a half of all women say they're unhappy with their sex lives. They want more. So it's probably a sign of the times that the so-called passion parties have moved in where Tupperware parties used to be. Gadgets, gizmos, and some people in the community pretty shocked about what's going on in the living room. Here's Elizabeth Vargas to take us there.
New York.
I recommend the complete manual of sexual positions.
Oh my God!
You like. The rabbit pearl is the one that was seen on Sex and the City.
Texas.
That's our nipple nibblers. Comes in 3 flavors.
She must be a virgin. California.
I mean, a passion party's virgin. Ooh la la. Oh.
Women trying, buying products to spice up their sex lives. It's a new millennium, and these aren't your mother's Tupperware parties. They're called passion parties, and in living rooms from coast to coast, women can see, touch, and talk about sensual products. Powders, potions, and gadgets we can't even show on TV.
I'm gonna get the Hideaway heart pillow, the one that comes with the free vibrator.
I think my favorite toy has been the Nebby G. It's a stimulator that really hits the G spot.
Monica is a passion parties veteran, and she says it's her husband's idea.
It's kind of ironic. Everything else is, what did you spend and how much? But when it comes to this, it's a different story, because he knows I'm going to come home with something fun.
When House Beautiful featured Tupperware in an editorial, it described it as fine art.
The model for all this actually is that icon of suburban America, the Tupperware party.
Passion parties really is like Tupperware.
Pat Davis is the president of Passion Parties.
We kid a lot that Tupperware has a burp and we have a buzz.
Passion Parties, this is Lisa. How can I help you?
Buzz indeed. Through its network of 3,000 all-female sales reps, Passion Parties had sales last year in excess of $20 million. The typical customer is in her early 30s.
I've been with someone for 4.5 years now, so, you know, why not spice it up a little bit?
Like the girls in Sex and the City, you can have a lot of fun talking about this stuff and not be so blasé about it.
They're part of a groundswell of women trying to take control of their sex lives. E. Jean Carroll is a columnist for Elle magazine.
We now have great careers. We have 5 pairs of Manolos. We have fantastic apartments. We have the money. So these parties really stand for more than the fabled gizmo. They stand for female freedom in its wildest form.
It's so much better to have the in-the-home environment to show our products because it offers education, it offers comfort, it offers confidentiality, and it's just a great way for women to get together, not only for the education, but to have a giggle and to have a girls' night out.
Joanne Webb is a party consultant in Burleson, Texas.
This is also considered scream in a jar. This goes on you down there or on him.
Why decide to sell sexual aids? Why not Tupperware
exactly,
or makeup?
And I could have, but when I started thinking about it, I wanted something new, exciting, and something that would help keep couples together. And I thought, you know, if I could educate women on how to get the most out of their sensuality, how to give the most in their relationships through their sensuality, maybe, just maybe, some of these divorce rates would go down.
And there is strong evidence that those relationships could use some help. A study last year by the Kinsey Institute revealed nearly 25% of the women surveyed said they were unhappy with their sex lives. Other studies show that number is even higher, closer to 50%. So Joanne Webb wasn't surprised when women at her parties began to confide in her about the problems they'd been having.
There was one young lady that I had talked to. She was 26 years old. She'd been married for 5 years. She was in the middle of a divorce. She had told me that she had never had an orgasm in the 5 years she was married. She didn't even know what her clitoris was. And she looked at me and she said, you know, if I'd have known these things before, I probably wouldn't be in the middle of a divorce right now.
Joanne Webb signed on with Passion Parties last summer. She is a classic suburban mother of 3, married 20 years to her college sweetheart. This part-time job brings in between $500 and $1,000 per month. But more importantly to Joanne, she's getting to talk to women about what used to be said in whispers.
They'll be hearing words like penis, clitoris, clinical terms, orgasm, that they may not actually hear spoken out loud very often. So at first they might be a little uncomfortable. By the time they're done, they're using those terms.
But in Burleson, Texas, just south of Fort Worth, not everyone is as comfortable talking sex as Joanne Webb and the women at her parties. Because the pink passions and the Mood Light G-spot she's been selling have earned her more than income, they've earned her a mugshot, and they may cost her a year in jail. When we return, Joanne Webb, sex toys, and the controversy that won't go away.
Once again, Charles Gibson.
As we continue now, Joanne Webb says she's selling the spice that keeps couples together. But not all of the community is happy about it. And as you're about to see, she's now in all kinds of trouble because of what she's selling and women are buying. Here's more with Elizabeth Vargas.
Have you ever played with warming lotion and licked it off your lover?
Joanne Webb thought she had found her calling. She felt that her passion parties were selling more than sex toys. They were selling fulfillment, a kind of couples therapy for the new millennium. But not everyone in Burleson, Texas, a suburb of Fort Worth, sees it that way.
I'm finding that in certain areas you can't discuss these issues, you can't be aware of these issues, because if you are, then you must be a whore or a slut or, you know, some kind of an evil woman or dirty woman.
Long before she started selling sex toys Tupperware style, her personal style, her short skirts, had caused a stir. A local Baptist church asked her to leave the congregation.
Because I've worn short skirts all my life, people have always had fun gossiping about me.
How short were your skirts?
They're about mid-thigh. Mid-thigh. Yeah, my husband's a leg man. This is extra mild just because I've done so much for the chamber.
Joanne has a shelf full of awards from the local Chamber of Commerce. But when her passion parties business was accepted for membership in the chamber, there were rumbles.
Right after I joined my business to the chamber, these particular women started working on a dress code. And so obviously the real issue wasn't necessarily my short skirts at that point in time.
Joanne thinks the real issue was her passion parties business. Some wanted her out. But even all that tension at the Chamber of Commerce didn't prepare Joanne for the shock she received on November 13th, a voicemail from the Burleson police.
It was actually a message on my cell phone that said that a warrant had been issued for my arrest on an obscenity charge.
A few hours later, the one-time Bible school teacher was booked.
All I could think of was, this is wrong. This is so wrong.
Joanne was charged under a Texas law that defines an obscene device as one designed to be used for sexual stimulation.
I assume that in Texas there are shops that sell sexual devices.
Absolutely.
Why aren't they being arrested?
Because they call them a novelty or a gift item.
Leanne Sizemore is Joanne's attorney.
When you explain them and sell them, you don't call them a gag gift or a novelty item, but you sit down with the women in their private homes and you talk to them about it. Then you violate the law.
So Texas law says you can either sell them or you can explain what to do with them, but you can't do both.
That's right.
And attorney Sizemore argues that the Texas law that snared her client could even be used against businesses that sell condoms and don't label them as novelties.
Walmart every day sells condoms, ribbed condoms, for his pleasure and her pleasure. If it is used in any manner to affect the human genitalia, then it falls under this statute.
So by that logic, everybody at Walmart and Walmart itself should be at the same jailhouse being booked and fingerprinted.
Absolutely.
Local officials, including County Attorney Bill Moore, who brought the charges, declined our request for an interview.
What's been the public reaction to this? Because on the face of it, the law really doesn't make any sense.
That same reaction is what I have gotten throughout Burleson, throughout the state, throughout the country. No one can understand why this would happen.
At the Country Kitchen Cafe, opinion is divided.
Personally, I think they're great people, and it's a shame what happened to them.
I don't believe that was the way the Lord intended, that you have to have toys.
This is, about small-town politics. Southern Baptists, this is something they don't believe in, so, they want to do away with it.
I think it's sick. Just sick.
If you're offended by us, you know what? Don't take us to dinner.
Joanne's husband, Chris, says there's more going on here than a summons and a statute.
I was stunned and disappointed that no one had bothered to come and talk to Joanne from the city government or from the police department. It was a betrayal of a family who had given 10 years to that town and will continue to give to that town because it's our home.
If convicted, Joanne Webb could receive a $4,000 fine and a year in jail. While she hopes it won't come to that, she is concerned.
My middle daughter, it scares her so much. It's the idea of her mom going to jail that really scares her.
Attorney Bianne Sizemore, a veteran of the civil rights movement, says she has never been so emotionally involved in a case.
Would I have been so brave? I don't know. And it takes people like this to make people like me comfortable in talking about their sexuality and themselves as a person. I feel a huge sense of responsibility. I got a mother of 3 kids that's relying on me. And yes, it's scary. It's frightening for all of us.
It's a good thing you came.
For Joanne Webb, what was once just a business selling body oils and gadgets is now about more. It's become a cause.
Joanne, are you still giving the passion parties?
At the risk of incriminating myself, I will continue to help women. That is my plan. One that is most famous with passion parties is our Glow Boy. He may not look like much.
This week, lawyers for other passion party sales consultants in Texas filed a lawsuit in U.S. District Court in Dallas, charging that the Texas law is unconstitutional. But you should know there are similar laws in Georgia, Mississippi, and Virginia. We'll be right back.